Students, I hope the first method was clear to you. That is the scatter diagram method. Now let us move on to the second formula, that is Carl Pearson's product moment method. Now under this method you have to study three formulas. Okay. So I have written down on this board. So the first method that I am going to show you is to use when your data, that is your value of the variables, are normal, and while calculating the x bar and y bar you are getting a whole number. Understood? For example, your x bar and y bar is 10 and 15. Like this, it is having a whole number or the natural numbers. Then you have to move on with the first formula, okay, which I would show you on this board. Now, the second formula, when you have to use when your x bar and y bar, that while calculating you are getting a fractional number. Understood? For example, your x bar says 15.5 and your y bar is 16.89. Like this you are getting. That is in decimals or fractions you are getting. Then you have to move on with the second formula. Okay? And again, one more thing to take into consideration, that your data should be a normal number and in small numbers. Okay? Small numbers also. Okay? For example, your data, that is your value of the variable, that is x and y, given to you is like in 2-digit numbers, okay, and your x bar and y bar while calculating you are getting in fractional also. So when these two cases arrive, then you have to move on with the second formula. Understood? Now the third formula, it is also known as the shortcut method. In that, when you have to use when your data, that is your value of variable, is in large number, okay, like it is given in 3-digit units like this, then you have to move on with the shortcut method. And also your x bar and y bar while calculating, it is coming in fractions, okay. Again, what I said earlier, that is your x bar and y bar, it is coming in 15.8. Like this, in decimals it is arriving. And also your data, that is your value of the variables, are in large units. Okay, then you have to move on with the third formula. Okay, you got an idea about the formulas. Now let us move on to the exact formulas. Okay. See, the first formula, when you have to use when your data, that is your value of the variables, are normal and your x bar and y bar is in a whole number. So what does the formula says? R is equals to, R means correlation, is equals to covariance xy upon sx into sy. Now what is sx? Sx is standard deviation of x and sy means standard deviation of y. So to find out covariance xy, the formula is sigma xi minus x bar into sigma yi minus y bar divided by n. Clear with the covariance xy? Now what is the formula for sx and sy? Sx, it is square root sigma xi minus x bar the whole square divided by n. Similarly with the sy, square root sigma yi minus y bar the whole square divided by n. Clear with this sx and xy? Now to find out the mean, that is x bar and y bar, it is simple, sigma xi upon n and sigma yi upon n. Understood? Now what you have to take into consideration, that when your x bar and y bar gives the whole number or natural number, then you have to move on with the first formula. Clear with the first formula? Now move on to the second formula. When you have to use the second formula, when your x bar and y bar shows a fraction number, okay. So this you have to remember in mind, okay. So the formula says R is equals to n into sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by square root of n into sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square multiplied by square root n into sigma y square minus sigma y the whole square. Clear? So when you have to use this formula when your x bar and y bar shows a fraction number. For example, if your x bar says 6.53 and y bar says 7.38, then you have to move on with this formula. Okay, you have to memorize this very thoroughly. Clear? Now third formula, it is also known as shortcut method. When you have to use this third formula, when, see here I have written a note over here, when your x bar and y bar in fraction and on with the shortcut method. Now what is this shortcut method? R is equals to, that is correlation is equals to N into sigma UV minus sigma U into sigma V divided by square root of N into sigma U square minus sigma U the whole square multiplied by square root N into sigma V square minus sigma V the whole square. Clear with this? Now what is U and V? For U, you have to take the formula X minus A. A means a assumed value divided by Cx. Okay. Now V means Y minus D. B is again a assumed value that you have to take it from the data that has been given in your question divided by Cy. Now you have to keep in mind your Cx and Cy should be more than 0. Understood? This you have to remember. It should not be less than 0. Clear with the three formulas? Again I would repeat. First formula, when you have to use when your x bar and y bar is in whole number and your data are a normal number, given in a normal number, that is not neither too large neither too small. Okay. Now second formula, when you have to use when your x bar and y bar are in fractional. Clear? Third formula, when you have to use when your data that is been given in your question is very large, also your x bar and y bar are in fractions. Understood? So in that case you have to move on with this shortcut method. Clear with this three formulas? Okay, now let us understand the properties of the correlation coefficient. Now what is the first property of correlation coefficient? It says that the value of correlation lies in the interval of -1 to +1. Understood? That is value of the correlation, whatever the correlation you get while finding out or while calculating the sums, it should be always in between -1 to +1. Okay, that is -1 to +1. Always the answer of your R, that is R is correlation coefficient. It would be within -1 to +1. Understood? Now let us move on to the second. It says free from unit of measurement. Now what do you understand by free from unit of measurement? Now whatever the unit your value of the variables possesses, the correlation coefficient does not carry any of the unit what was carrying in your value of the variables. Understood? Say for an example, if your variables that is x and y, now the x says it is in savings, that is rupees it is, and y is in expenses, that is also in rupees, or else you can say kilograms or rupees, like that also. Okay, so whatever the variables the unit it carries, the R, that is your correlation between these two variables, would not possess any of the unit of measurement. So clear with the second point, that is free from unit of measurement. You have to remember this in mind. Clear? Now the third one, it says R x or y is equals to R y or x. Now what do you understand by this? If you interchange the value of the variables, okay, in the first I have written x and y, and the second I have written y and x. So if you interchange the value of the variables, but the relation, that is the correlation that you are getting, would be the same. Clear? If you just keeping x over here and y over here and then interchanging again and finding out the correlation coefficient, your answer of the R, that is your correlation coefficient, would be always equal. Clear with the third point? Now the fourth point, it says correlation coefficient does not change with the change in origin and scale. So clear, so simple. What do you understand? If you change the origin and scale while calculating the correlation coefficient, the R what you get in the last would not be affected. Clear? Now, fifth point, what does it say? See, you can see I have written R into minus x and y is equals to minus R x and y in bracket. Similarly, I have kept this minus over here. Can you see this? Minus. Now what it say that if you change the sign of your variables, any of the variables, your sign has been changed, then what would be the effect in your correlation coefficient? There is also difference in the sign of your correlation coefficient. If any of the variable has negative sign, then it would show a direct effect in your correlation coefficient. So clear? So see over here, in the first I have kept minus x, that's why your correlation came as minus r. Understood? Now in the second case I kept minus y and positive x. So what is the effect? Your r, that is your correlation coefficient, again it came to be negative. So any negative sign in your any of the value of the variables, it would direct affect the correlation coefficient that you calculate in your sums. So clear with this? 5 properties of a correlation coefficient. Again let us recall. The first says it should be within the limit of minus 1 and positive 1. Understood? Second, it says it is free from unit of measurement. Third, it says whether you interchange the values, that is x or y or x, the correlation coefficient would be always same, and that is equal. Clear? Then fourth point, if you change the origin or the scale, the correlation coefficient would not be affected. Clear? And fifth point, if any of the values would be sign of the values would be affected, your correlation coefficient would also be affected directly. So clear with this properties of correlation coefficient? Okay, now let us solve one sum of correlation coefficient only. Now let me read out one question for you. It was not having any that much space, so let me read out for you. The following information is collected by taking a sample of 7 candidates having nearly same intellectual ability to know the effect of last day preparation of a competitive examination of general knowledge on the result of the examination. So we are having the data of the 7 candidates whose last 3 days reading hours has been given to you. So see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like this 7 candidates, and the last 3 days hours of reading, it has been prescribed, it has been written. Okay, so for the first candidate, he reads for 25 hours and he gets the marks as 65. Okay, second candidate, he reads for 38 hours and gets 75 marks. Like this, it move on for the every candidate. So this is the data given to you. Then you have to find out the correlation coefficient. So you have to find out this. Clear? Now let us start with the mean to find out the means. Now finding out the n. What is n? See how many candidates you are having. You are having 7 candidates. That is why your n is equals to 7. Clear? Then you have to find out x bar, that is your means. Okay, so mean of x would be sigma xi upon n. So to find out sigma xi, make a column like this. This is a chart you have to make like this. Then you have to total up the x column. Then you will get number 231. So dividing it by n, that is your 7, would result to number 33. Similarly, you have to do with y bar. So what is sigma yi? Total up the y column, you would get 504. So then divided by 7, you would get number 72 and 33 for x bar. So now what you understand by this? See your mean, that is x bar and y bar are both in integers. So if you remember the previous, I said that whenever it is in integer and also a whole number, then you have to move on with the first formula that I have said earlier in my video. So according to the first formula, what is the first formula? If your mean are coming in integers, then you have to move on with the formula r is equals to covariance xy upon sx into sy, that is standard deviation of x multiplied by standard deviation of y. Clear with this? Now this is the elaborated formula of this that I have written over here. Now to further calculate, we have to make this column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 columns to calculate according to this formula. So the first column would be x minus x bar. Second is y minus y bar. Third column is x minus x bar multiplied by y minus y bar. Okay, so whatever you find out this first column and second column, in the third column you have to multiply with this both the column and then you would get your numbers. Clear? Then the next column would be x minus x bar the whole square. Now what it is? Whole square means you have to multiply the number minus 8 with itself only. That is minus 8 into minus 8 would be 64. Clear with this? I hope this is clear to you. Okay. My x minus x bar the whole square means you are writing over here x minus x bar multiplied by x minus x bar. Then you will get your x minus x bar the whole square. Clear with this? Now the second last column, that is y minus y bar. This is the same that I have just showed you of the variable x. Clear with you? Now see for your x minus x bar. See, you are having your x as 25 for the first candidate and x bar as 33. So you have to minus 25 minus 33, then you would get your answer minus 8. Okay, on your calci you have to calculate. Again I would repeat, for the second candidate to find out x minus x bar, so this column, so 38 minus 33. Okay, calculate on your calculator. So you would get your answer as number 5. Clear with this x minus x bar? Now same you have to do with your y minus y bar column. How would you do? See, y for the first candidate, your y is 65 and y bar is 72. So deduct 65 from 72. Then you would get your answer as minus 7. Clear? Again, 75 minus 72. Your answer would be 3. Like this you have to do for the rest of the candidates. Now the third column, that is x minus x bar multiplied by y minus y bar. So what you have to do, you have to multiply this column with this column. So minus 8 into minus 7, it would result to 56. 5 multiplied by 3 is equals to 15. Minus 3 into minus 4 is equals to 12. Okay, like this you have to do with the rest of the candidates. Now the second last column, it says x minus x bar the whole square. So what you have to do, you have to multiply this column with itself only. With this column only you have to multiply. So squares of these numbers would be minus 8. The into minus 8 would be 64. 5 into 5, it is 25. Minus 3 into minus 3, 25. Like this you have to do for the rest. Okay, rest of the candidates. Similarly with the y minus y bar the whole square. So you have to multiply this column with itself only. That is minus 7 into minus 7, it is 49. 3 into 3 is equals to 9. Minus 4 into minus 4 is equals to positive 16. Minus 2 into minus 2 would be positive 4. Okay, so like this you would do it in your calculator. Okay, on your calculator. Then afterwards, after finding out all these columns, you have to make the total of it. Okay, for each and every column you have to make the total like this. Now you have to put this total in your formula. So let us move on to the formula. What is the formula of R is equals to covariance x and y divided by Sx into Sy. It is, the elaborated form is sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by square root sigma x minus x bar the whole square multiplied by square root sigma y minus y bar the whole square. So you are having the values for everything because we did in this chart. So let us keep the values in this formula. So your total of, that is sigma means total of your x minus x bar into y minus y bar is 151. See this column. You have to find the total. Sigma means total of this column is 151. Dividing, then you will get this column total, that is 182. That is square root of 182 multiplied by the total of this column is 136. That is sigma y minus y bar the whole square is equals to 136. Then you have to multiply. First you have to multiply, then you have to square root of it. Okay. So after multiplying 182 into 136, you would get 24752. Clear with this? Then you have to make the square root of this number. Then you would get 157.3277 as the round number. Okay. Then afterward you have to divide 151 divided by 157.327. You would get your R as 0.9598. So you have to round it off and make it in 2 decimals. So your round off figure would be 0.96. So do you remember the chart what I have said in earlier? See, this is more nearer to positive 1. So there is a high degree. Okay, so there is higher degree of positive correlation. So you would make your decision as perfect. There is an existence of perfect positive correlation. So clear with this? Some